Take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear.
I always think that's Art Garfunkel. Well, Bear Wozniak is a world champion surfer, certified ninja black belt, and host of EWTN's Deep Adventure radio program, and featured on EWTN reality special Deep Adventure Quest. The Benedictine Oblate is the author of Deep in the Wave, adventure guide for Deep Adventure Quest retreats, and a popular conference speaker. And in his brand new book, A Surfer's Guide to the Soul, this compelling spiritual memoir, Bear takes you on a journey from the mountain waves of Hawaii to the wedge of Newport Beach, California, showing how this experience and his experience surfing led him to a profound encounter with God. And we want to welcome to the program once again our good friend, Bear Wozniak. Hey, Bear, welcome.
Jim, it's so good to talk to you again. Aloha.
Aloha. And last time we talked to you, you were actually, I think you were on the 7th hole.
That's right. You were playing golf.
That's true. Today I'm actually in Cocoa Beach, Florida, though. I'm not in Hawaii right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Cocoa Beach.
Having some adventures down there. Are you running a retreat?
Oh, it's a wonderful adventure. I went to the dentist here.
Oh boy.
Well, I hope everything's okay. You know, just rinse with salt water.
That's right.
Usually around plenty of that, right?
Yeah, oh, that's true.
That's true. That's true.
You're on fire today.
All right. Well, and how are the waves down in Cocoa Beach?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't bother to look. It's always so sad. I'm sorry. No, they have good waves there on occasion. And, of course, the world champion, Callie Slater's from Cocoa Beach.
Oh, okay.
But, it's just sad.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm really curious about this brand new book, a spiritual memoir, they're calling it, about your guide, a surfer's guide to the soul. Tell us a little bit about what brought this about, these decades of reflection and growth that you've experienced going out into the deep. I like that Duke in Altum, as John Paul used to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's someone had to write it. First of all, the love of surfing, and of course you've heard the expression soul surfer. There's so much to surfing that is a spiritual allegory for our walk with Jesus. I mean, just think about it. 13 billion years ago, God said, "Let there be light," and that was, He sent out light waves and sound waves and radio waves and waves, ocean waves. And so, when you ride a wave, I don't know how to describe it. I've done so many things. I've skydived, I've skied, and a lot of things. Nothing like riding a wave, and because the wave really tells you what you're supposed to do, and it's alive. You have to respond to the wave. Sorry. And when you ride it, you feel like you're one with that wave, and not only that, you feel like you're one with the Creator. And so there's just that. For example, you can't surf without a wave, and you can't make a wave. And so that it's God's kuleana, as we say, to send those waves, and it's our kuleana just to respond and surf those waves. And that's a small part of our understanding of our walk with the Lord.
And it would certainly be me praying to God that I survive the wave. He's involved on all aspects here.
Well, no, it's true that actually, a big part of surfing is the wipeout. One of the things I like to do, I know this is probably have to go to confession, but I love to watch these YouTube videos of the little children falling over. They're so cute. But we surfers, we fall more than they do.
Oh.
And sometimes the fall can be quite critical. I was talking with my son Shane yesterday. We were having a cigar out at the beach here, and asking him about his big hold down. And he was held down for maybe a couple of minutes by wave after wave. And he said, and to the point where your capillaries start tingling because the oxygen flow is receding just to your organs to take care of it. And then eventually, he broke through. But when you're in that position, you have to you can't fight. You have to get in the fetal position because you don't want your arms or legs to be dislocated while you're being, tumbled. And then sometimes you hit bottom, and when you hit bottom, you can push off from there. And so if there's a lesson in life. There's some people right now may have been gone through a real wipeout in their life. In the book, I talk about some of the things stupid things I did that put me in a precarious situation. And then sometimes life just happens. And sometimes, when you come to an end of yourself, that's kind of when you kind of find yourself, that when I used to sail my boat by myself, I used to always dangle a long rope behind me in case I fell out. And you tie knots every 10 feet. And the tradition from ancient days is the last knot on that rope was called the bitter end. So there's so much to surfing. That's joking about the wipeout. It's a great way for God to keep you humble in your life when you experience a personal wipeout, but it's also can be a dark night, and you kind of come to an end of yourself. And when you're there at the very end of yourself, you can kind of hear God knocking sometimes, and you get real with God and real with life, and from there you can push off and have a new beginning.
The analogy is just such an eye-opener. I think it's fabulous. And I picture somebody, at the desperate rock bottom, as you say, that they're in the gutter and they can't get any lower. And that's when they realize, hey, it's time for me to turn around and I want things to get better. And you push off, hopefully with God holding your hand or you reaching up for God's hand. Some people have to get to that low point before they turn themselves around.
Yeah, and the closer you get to the surface, the worse you feel, right? If we have in Hawaii, we hold our breaths for 2 minutes and 20 seconds, the time of the sun to set. And my son Jeremiah, he surfed 85-foot waves in 2007, the biggest waves in 40 years. And he trained by running underwater, holding a rock to be able to do that. But when you're in that situation in bigger surf, we call it being in God's hands. And so right now, if someone's experiencing a real wipeout, and there are many people listening right now that are, when you swim, first of all, when you're in a big wipeout, you can't fight it. You go almost embryonic. You become childlike, and you just have to rest and let things take its course, and then you begin to swim, and you don't know which way is up, but you'll see which way the light is, and you swim towards the light. As you get closer, there's no relief; it's worse because it hurts. Your lungs hurt, and then finally, when you burst through, at first you may not even see much light, but then the light just comes pouring in as the oxygen flows again into your eyes. And so, don't give up hope. If you find yourself in a long hold down, don't give up hope. The Lord is there with you, and just swim for the light, as we say, and God will make a way for you. He doesn't test you beyond what you can endure, and that testing, that humbling, helps you shake loose from everything you're clinging to other than God.
We're talking with Bear Wozniak about his brand new book, A Surfer's Guide to the Soul. It is published by Sophia Institute Press, and their web address is sophiainstitute.com. Bear, at what point in your life, since this is kind of a memoir of that, at what point in your life as a surfer did you come to this encounter with God and made the analogy, and this is, put the two together?
Well, I just say this. It started for me, the ocean and this sense of God, when I was probably 13 years old. I was down at Seacliff Beach near Santa Cruz, and I used to always like to build sand castles. I would body surf till my mom would tell me, you have to come out because your lips are purple. You go back in when they turn blue, because I just love the ocean.
Right.
And I would build sand castles, and I'd make them real powerful so the waves couldn't knock them down. But the next morning I'd come down to the beach, they'd be knocked down. And I began to sense this kind of eternity that these waves have been breaking here since before I was born, and they'll keep breaking when I'm gone. And it was like an epiphany. I saw a sailboat sailing across the horizon, from the ocean. When you're on the ocean standing, you can see 8 miles away before the curvature of the earth, bends.
Right.
And so I saw this sailboat going over the horizon. I had that sense of infinity. And from that moment, I thought, okay, I know God created this. I was a good Catholic altar boy. I knew God created the universe, that God was eternal and infinite, and it made me feel small. But at the same time, it was like this great expanse opened up in my heart, because I realized that the God who created this created me, and He created me, as we used to say in the Baltimore Catechism, to know, love, and serve God in this world. I knew that He made me to have a relationship with Him, but I didn't really experience that intimacy with God until when I was 19. I had my first encounter with God infusing His love and His just unexplainable encounter with God's love just being poured out on me.
Mm-hmm. What is it, Bear, do you think? It was funny you said that, because just the other day we had a beautiful day here in New Jersey, and Cheryl and I took a ride over to the shore, as they say here on this coast. And what is it about the ocean itself? It just is, I think for almost everybody, for us certainly, it is very mesmerizing in the sense that you look at. Is it that sense of eternity, that sense of continuity, of dependence? What do you think it is about that?
Well, and there's more than that. What the first thing the surfer does is, after we greet the day and we decide, well, we're going to dawn patrol or wait till later, where we're going to surf depending on the swell direction. But when you get down to the water's edge with your surfboard, the first thing you do is you look at the surf. You look to see what swell the direction is coming, what direction the swell is coming from, what reefs is it breaking on, the timing between sets, and you become mesmerized by that. And the things on the land behind you, as we say, the Aina, the busy, the worries and cares of the world, your own selfish agendas, they kind of fade in the background, and you look out at the ocean that's so deep and so wide, and that's that sense of detachment that is one of the first spiritual lessons we learn, is to turn our back on and detach from those things that the world pressing in on us and clinging to us and us grasping, and focus on the Lord. But then the next thing is when you go to paddle out, especially when it's big, you have to paddle battle often to get through the shore break. I mean, like Waimea Bay, when it's 20 foot plus, one of the hardest things to do is just get off the shore. You run, jump on your board, and you paddle through hundreds of yards of heavy surf, shore break, before you get out a quarter of a mile to where the real waves are. And that's that second phase, that's purgation, when you're trying to break away from old sinful patterns, and you have to really rely on God's power and grace, but you have to be determined in that first stage of your walk with God to leave old things behind and break loose from that. And while you're paddling out, you may not be just getting pushed back, but you might be getting swept sideways. If you get swept sideways at Waimea Bay, in that area of the shore break where you take off from the far right side, if you get swept into another area, it's just hollow barrels just pounding you. So you have to be aware that you're being swept by your old nature, that you're being pushed back, and you have to just keep paddling and paddling and paddling. And by God's grace, you break through into a time of growing in virtue and leaving behind your own sinful patterns and sometimes your old friends. People, as we say, to avoid the near occasion of sin. You got to paddle out. You got to break through.
And I bet once you get past that rough surf, is there an experience of like freedom or release of some type?
Yeah, because the exhilaration of the oxygen flowing through you because you've been paddling so hard.
Yeah.
And you finally get out. And if you're smart, like a Waimea, once you make it to the shore break, then you know where the riptide is. You know there's a certain channel between the two deep reefs that there's a strong riptide, and you paddle into that, and then it's just like a chairlift taking you out to sea, like a skier takes. And then you have to orient yourself. And you look out at the ocean, and you look at the reef, and you figure out, where you need to line up so that you're not in the impact zone. in front of where the wave breaks, but that you're where the wave breaks in the takeoff zone, and you don't want to be in a deep zone and not be where the waves are at all. So it's very interesting how you have to establish new patterns in your life and establish new friendships. And like, you know, you can be. I've surfed. I've been in Chopu when it's 45 foot and the lip is maybe 10 foot thick, and you can move. You can be. The channel is the razor sharp reef is so shallow, and then it's just deep. And if you can be 2 feet on the wrong side of where the reef is, and just get destroyed, or it can just pass by you. So, you know, knowing your position, and how do you know your position in the lineup is because you're getting swept. You got a paddle battle to stay in your position. Is you know your Catholic teaching. You know, you read the Catechism as it says to do, as a Lectio Divina. You know doctrine and moral teaching, and you live in virtue. And like surfers, when we're out on big surf, we have a lineup. We have crosshairs. We look at one way where we know there's a tree next to that hospital. Behind that tree, that particular window, I draw that line, and then I draw another line, you know, at the lifeguard tower and the church behind it. And I know when I'm in those crosses, I'm in the lineup. And that's just, as Catholics, we have no excuse because we have such great depth of doctrinal and moral teaching. We know where we need to line up, and we have to paddle battle just to stay there. But we need to do that because everyone else will drift who doesn't know how to stay in the lineup. But as people are drifting, we hold our position.
Well, it's a beautiful analogy. Again, friends, the book is called A Surfer's Guide to the Soul, written by Bear Wozniak, our guest today, published by Sophia Institute Press. And again, their address is sophiainstitute.com. Make some great summer reading while you're laying at the Jersey Shore this summer, friends. So
I was just going to say it's the perfect book for this summer.
That's
perfect.
right.
And both of those books are great for Father's Day presents. By the way,
there you go.
Yes.
That's right.
Package, because they're books people can't put down, and everyone from maybe even a graduate. They're great stories, and people are riveted. And then before they know it, they've learned a few things about their walk with God too.
Yes. Oh, great work, Bear.
Again, the website, friends, sophiainstitute.com. Bear Wozniak, A Surfer's Guide to the Soul, his most recent book. Check them out. And as Bear said, Father's Day is coming up, and we here on the East Coast, this is Memorial Day is only a week away, so that's when our big season starts here in Jersey. So a lot of shore reading there. Bear, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it.
It's so good to talk with you both, and especially to talk to you again, Jim. Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, take care now.
God bless you. Thank you.
God.
All right, friends, you stay where you are. We're going to be right back with the weather. It's raining again.
Really?
You hear it.
You have come to the seashore, neither searching for the rich nor the wise, desiring only that I should follow.
God gave us night and day so we could play and pray together. So now let's see what's heading our way as Jim gives us the weather.
Okie dokie. That means it's time for our domestic church media meteorologist right here with thunder on the little ditty there and
I
thunder
know.
outside. Jim Hoppin. Hey, Jim, welcome.
Hey,
We're getting
how's it going today?
we're getting thunder in stereo here. It's thundering outside the studios too.
What a
I
fanfare.
I have my window open. I can hear it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And this studio is supposed to be soundproof, but we're hearing it loud and clear, so it must be pretty powerful outside.
So,
Or you better contact your soundproofing guy because maybe it's not quite soundproof.
No, obviously not. No, that's right. That's right.
so grab your umbrella and step outside, if you will, and let us know what's happening.
Okay. No, I think I'll stay inside.
Ah,
Smart move.
yeah, smart move. Hey, Jim, have you ever surfed? Were you ever a surfer?
Absolutely.
You did.
Started
Really? I can-
surfing at like 14 years old,
Wow. Okay.
and I still go out every once in a while, but not as much as I used to when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a chance. We just had Bear Wozniak on his new book, A Surfer's Guide to the Soul. Be a nice Father's Day gift if any of your offspring are listening.
Yes, it sounds.
I tell you, one of the great things I liked about surfing was the quiet. It was very peaceful.
Yes.
You're just floating on the water, waiting for the next set of waves to come in.
Well, there's something
Just
about
really, really neat.
something about when you get out into the ocean like that. I think everything there's like almost a hush.
Yeah.
If you're, I've experienced that myself, not as a surfer, but
Absolutely not. But let me ask you this. So, as Bear was explaining, a lot of the logistics and of, actually doing it, would there be a point when, okay, you're paddling, you're leaving the shore, you have all the noise, the kids playing, maybe music, the rides, whatever is happening behind you. Is there a point where you enter where you really don't hear the noise from the beach?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you hear are the waves that are crashing between you and the
Yes.
beach. And you're usually you have your back to the beach anyway because you're looking out for the next set to come in. So
Yeah.
it's any sound you hear, it's either the seagulls or the waves that are crashing around you. Now,
Gorgeous.
what's a little different is I used to clam as well when I was a kid. I used to clam out in the bay and get a couple hundred clams, bring them in, sell them on the streets, and then sell them to the restaurants.
Oh, cool.
And I could be a mile out in the bay, and I could hear the squeaky brakes of the garbage trucks in
Right.
the morning.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
There's a difference between the bay and being out on the ocean. Just the sound is just different. It's a different sound. You still have your board?
No, my board. Actually, Jackie wanted to get me a new board for my birthday last year, and so we're still in the market.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good for you. So, any surfing weather coming up this weekend or this week?
Well, I tell you, we used to like it when the thunderstorms came through because right after the storms moved out over the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Usually get some pretty good swells that would come
Oh, there
in.
you go.
And if you got a west wind after that, it's a bonus because the west wind tends to hold the waves up a little longer and just makes them formed very nicely for surfing.
Oh, okay. All right. So, how's it look for surfers this week?
Well, I tell you, it's summer, right?
Right?
Yeah, all of a
You've
sudden.
seen, it's all the buzz, right? The
Yeah.
big news is about the weather the next couple of days, and I think the beach is the place to head to. It's going to be a little cooler along the beach as it is now. I think the temperatures along the ocean right now. You can look at the low to mid 60s, Beach Haven, Seaside. As you move inland, it's more in the low 70 to low 70s. And now that'll be the story over the weekend too. If you want to get away to some cooler weather, definitely head to the beach.
So, we'll need cooler
But
weather.
for us, yep. But for us, it's going to be hazy, hot, humid. And what's interesting? My son lives in Colorado. He lives in Denver,
Mm-hmm.
in Centennial, it's just south of Denver. And it was 90 degrees, almost 90 degrees where he was yesterday.
Today they're expecting a foot of snow.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That
So
is.
it is true. What they say is, hey, if you're in Denver and you don't like the weather, wait a few hours.
Yeah. that's quite a contrast.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Central New Jersey area. So if you're in the area right now and you're outside and you're looking out your window, you know what's going on, and that's the forecast. Showers and thunderstorms are going to continue tonight, mostly cloudy. Weather is going to prevail, and then those showers and thunderstorms will taper off in the early evening. And then tonight's low temperature is going to be about 65 degrees. And the big story I've heard all week is tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to have mostly sunny skies and hot, high near 97 degrees. The Hoffman Pool is open, so I'm going to be jumping in.
Good for you.
Saturday night, partly cloudy, low around 72. Sunday, that hot weather continues. Chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny, high 92. And then Sunday night, we have a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Ooh, just had a big slap.
We heard that one. You still standing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for Sunday, continues to be cloudy, low around 60. We're near 77, so we get a cool down. And then next week, we're looking at highs in the low 70s through Wednesday. But then Thursday, it looks like we get back up to close to 80, and then we drop back down to 70s on Friday.
Wow.
So not looking too bad, but, we're going to get back into spring next week, more seasonable weather after our flirt with summer. And tomorrow, Saturday, I just want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Paul LaPlante. He's being ordained tomorrow.
Yes, we saw that in
Trenton
the
by the bishop.
yeah, we
That's
saw that
right.
in the Monitor. He, Mr. LaPlante's son, went to school with our oldest, Joseph. They were in Holy Ghost Prep in the same class the same year. Must be Paul Jr., I guess.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we knew,
really excited for him. I see him around all the time, and you always asking him about how his studies were going, and just seems never ending. I mean, it's dedication for these men who are going for the diaconate, and it's a long, lot of hard studies.
right. But in addition to
because these people have a real day job.
That's
How
right.
can they do this at night?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
they have their families and they're working
yeah.
during the day. It's really, you talk about dedication and commitment, but they persevere, and it's a good handful of years. It's not just a couple of years. Right.
All right, so we'll keep that in prayer. And Jim, we want to thank you for being with us today. Now, next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so we'll look forward to that forecast. See what's coming up.
Yes, if you're
Yeah,
available.
I'll be taking 4-day weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, we get to the beach.
All righty.
So you'll be at the satellite studio then.
Yeah, hopefully that's
Hopefully.
the plan.
All right.
All right. We'll pray for good weather.
All right, Jim. Thanks a lot. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
God bless you too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
God gave us night and day so we could play and pray together. So now let's see what's headed our way as Jim gives us the weather. They're heroic and virtuous, living in sanctity. But guess what? When on earth they were just like you and me, and now they're the saint of the day.
Saint of the day.
And Jim's back in good
I'm back.
voice.
I was over there in my little karaoke corner here earlier today, and I was belting them out.
Not to be confused with the corner lady shrine. This is the karaoke corner.
Karaoke corner on this side of the studio. I got to get ready for something. Something's a coming. We'll tell you about that
Something
next
big.
week. We'll tell you all about that.
Okay.
So it's time to play Saint of the Day. That means we're going to give you some clues about a saint that we have chosen to be our particular saint of the day. Listen carefully, and Cheryl will give you the clues. And then just before she gives the last clue, she will tell you this is the last clue. Then, if you think you know who it is, give us a call, 609-493-8255. That's 609-493-8255. 609-493-8255. When you think you know who it is, wait till Cheryl says, this is the last clue. 609 493 8255. Let's play Saint of the Day.
We're going back to the year 1193 in Assisi, Italy. This young saint used to listen to St. Francis preach, and her heart burned with great desire to imitate him. She desired to live a poor, humble life for Jesus, but her parents would never agree to such a plan. Didn't that seem to be the way for all these saints? The parents wanted them to get married or do something else. On the night of Palm Sunday, 1212, she was only 18 years old. She left her home and family. In a little chapel outside of Assisi, she gave herself to God. St. Francis cut off her hair and offered her a rough brown habit to wear. She stayed with the Benedictine nuns until more nuns would join her. Parents tried in every way to make her return home, but she would not. Soon, her 15-year-old sister Agnes joined her. Other young women wanted to be poor ladies of Jesus too, and before long, there was a small religious community living in the house of San Damiano, which St. Francis himself had repaired. This saint and her nuns wore no shoes, never ate meat, lived in a poor house in an atmosphere of silent prayer. Yet they were very happy because they were living a life of poverty as Jesus had done. Once, an army of rough soldiers came to attack the city of Assisi, and although very sick, this saint asked to be carried to a window. She had the Blessed Sacrament placed where the soldiers could see it. She knelt and begged God to save the nuns and the city. A sudden fright struck the soldiers. They fled as fast as they could. This saint was abbess of her convent for 40 years. But 29 of those years she was very sick, but she said that she was joyful anyway because she was serving the Lord. She spent most of her life defending what she called the privilege of poverty. And now my last clue.
609 493 8255.
She died on August 11th of 1253, and just 2 years later was proclaimed a saint by Pope Alexander.
609 493 8255. If you think you know who today's saint is, that is the number to call. And we have a contestant. Hello, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Jim, it's Gwen. How are you?
Hey, Gwen, how are you?
Okay.
Good.
Gwen's been studying her saints. Who do we have
Hello,
today?
Jim.
She's studying
Hi.
to be a saint.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's St. Clair.
There you go. That's the correct answer. St. Clair. That's right.
And isn't she the saint for, like a patron saint of media?
Oh, yeah, Mother Angelica.
Oh, is she? Wonderful.
Television.
Television.
And they have the St. Clair Monastery out in Newtown. So I haven't been there in a while, but it's so beautiful over there.
Oh, yes.
Where,
You'll have
in
to,
Pennsylvania?
Right
Newtown.
next to the hospital. There.
Oh, okay.
Right by the
Alright.
park. Yeah.
So you said when you gave the answer, when you said, I think it's St. Clair, what made you think that?
Well, I was hoping it was. I was pretty sure it was. Almost 99.9% sure.
Yeah.
Well, you were 100% accurate. St. Clair is today's saint of the day. So thank you for playing and
Awesome.
guessing the correct. And we have Gwen's information, right?
We certainly
Okay.
do.
So Gwen, thank you so much for
Alright.
playing today. Have a great
You
weekend.
have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. God bless.
God bless
the
you.
family.
And friends, you stay where you are. Going to be right back with more. Don't go away.
Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come and fill my heart with your life. Hold me close, Lord, hold me tight. And come, Lord Jesus, come. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come and fill my heart with your life. Hold me close, Lord, hold me tight. And come, Lord Jesus, come. Where there's despair in life, Lord, let me be your voice of hope. Where there's injury, Lord, let me be your voice of peace. Come, Lord Jesus, come. where there's fear in our hearts, let me be a sign of faith. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come and fill my heart with your life. Hold me close, Lord, hold me tight. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come and fill my heart with your life. Hold me close, Lord, hold me tight. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Hold me close, Lord, hold me tight. Come, Lord Jesus, come.
All right, congratulations to Gwen, who is our winner today, Saint of the Day. St. Clair is our Saint of the Day, and Gwen guessed correctly. We're going to take a break in just a moment here and then come back, friends, with more Friday Live. Next hour, we have our gospel reading for the 6th Sunday of Easter. Father John Butler is the guest reflectionist today. And then Al Smith is going to join us about a book written by Fulton Sheen in 1941 called A Declaration of Dependence. So a lot more to come. You stay right where you are. We're going to cut away on YouTube and Facebook, but be back at 5 in just a few minutes. So don't go away. Another big hour. God bless you. Stay right there.
And stay dry.